want to say thank you for being with us. We get to talk about inspiring a creative online presence. And to my left here, this is Brittany. And Brittany is very excited to do this. She's naturally an introverted person. And so I thought I'm going to outro her intro by asking her to do this with us. But Brittany and Andrew are on our lead team at our church and been with us from the beginning of our church. We started about almost 4 years ago, and they met with us in our house on the very first weekend and have been here since. And Brittany has taken over all of our social media, graphics, website, everything we do online. And so she is awesome at what she does. And so she's going to give a lot of practical tips here today. And we're going to give you a chance to ask any questions you might have. This guy to my right here, his name is Josh, and he's been a part of our church since almost the beginning, but his now wife has been to the church since the very, very beginning. Hey, Pastor Frank, good to see you, brother. Hey, buddy, how's it going? It's okay, he's frozen. But so we've got, thanks for being with us, Pastor Frank. Thank you to Pastor Ivan. I haven't met you yet to know who you are. Again, this is Josh here to my and I asked him to join us. He's just recently taken some great, insightful classes on kind of a modern look at social media. And so I wanted him to come and join us and kind of be a part of this with us as well. And so it's going to be great. So I'm just going to share for a couple minutes. And if you have a question, you can. No problem, Andrew. I'm very grateful we could do this for you. Hi, Pastor Frank. Good to see you, brother. Glad you're with us, man. Oh, is it okay? Well,
there you go. It's good to see you. Look at you guys.
What a privilege to have you with us.
Come on.
So I was just saying that this is Brittany. And Brittany was at the beginning of the church with her husband, actually sitting next to you on the screen, our screen, Andrew. And they started with us. And Brittany does all of our online stuff, everything. I do about 0.05% of it now. She does it all. And so she's the mastermind. And she has a PhD in experience.
You do more than
right? I know. I think I'm almost there too, right? And then this is Josh. Josh is a part of our church. Him and his wife just got married, and Josh is a Bible college student and is just kind of taken an insightful class on kind of a modern look at social media. And so he's got some really insightful things to share as well. And Ivan's just saying that his Wi-Fi is breaking out, but it's okay, brother. I hope to meet you, Ivan. I don't know who you are, where you're from, man. So I'm sorry, but I'd love to meet you sometime. But so we're just going to share for a couple minutes. And I want to just kind of share a thought with you. When we started the church, really, I'm not on social media personally. I'm not on Instagram, and I have a Facebook account, but it's for once in a while not because I think it's bad, but I just am personally not a person of social media. And so when we started the church, Brittany here had to push me out of the box because I didn't want any pictures of myself. I didn't want to put anything online. I didn't want to put our sermons online. I didn't want to do anything on the website because I did not like it. The truth is, I was insecure about myself as a leader. I was insecure about the position of our church. I was insecure about my preaching. I was insecure about myself in general. And I didn't want her to put me out there or put our church out there because being the leader of the church, there's a lot of face time for myself. So sometimes it's the opposite, where somebody just can't wait to get their face on social media. So I don't know if it's good or bad or if it's right or wrong, but either way, Brittany really had to push me out of the boat. But something God spoke to me a couple of years ago is a verse in Ephesians chapter 5, verses 15, 16. And it says, "Be very careful then how you live, not as unwise, but as wise, making the most of every opportunity because the days are evil." And, Pastor Frank, you've been pastoring for a lot longer than I have. So you're probably reading the Bible for longer too, probably more consistently too. So there you go. You know that this whole phrase in this verse is the idea of redeeming the time. This phrase, make sure you redeem the time. And that Greek word is use it to the full. It's the idea of not a time or like a day. It's Kairos God moment. that Kairos God moment to redeem the God-given Kairos opportunity, to make most of those opportunities. Paul says in 1 Corinthians 6:9, there's a wide open door, an effective door of effectiveness. And so obviously Paul says it's wisdom to redeem the time, to redeem this moment. Second, he says, because the days are evil, and so, the reality is that that the social media and an online presence can be used for evil, and it can be used for bad, and it can be used to prop up pride, and it can be used to prop up people's identity, egos, and it can be used to project and promote a lot of unhealthy things in our world today. Our days are evil. And lastly, I think the most important thing Paul was trying to help us understand in this verse about making every opportunity known is because people need Jesus. People need to know Christ, and people need to be part of a great church. And so and the Gutenberg printing press started, when he started it, he created this unique way to cause the ink to hit the piece of paper so that it went faster and it was easier to do mass production of literature and books. And even though there was a mass idea, philosophy, and all sorts of cultic things and really ridiculous political things, this was at the same time when Martin Luther printed out the first Latin Bibles, and then he nailed his thesis on the door, and 17 days later the thesis was in mass production across the European world. And this is what Martin Luther said about the printing press: printing is the ultimate gift of God and the greatest one. And so even though something that was media, social media, online presence could be seen by the church as something so negative, something so worldly, something so not beneficial for God's kingdom, we have to recognize that we are in a season of great opportunity. And as much as I want to believe that God is just going to grow our church, because he does. Jesus grows the church. Grace grows the church, but advertising helps. Advertising helps him, and so just a couple of thoughts for myself, some things that I struggled with. I wanted to believe that God was going to grow our church without advertising, without social media. And he does, but like I said, he likes to partner with us. And I think that there's something really important about that. So just a few more thoughts, and then I'll hand it over to these guys. So why an online presence? So one thing that I think is really important that I learned is that an online presence is not evangelism. An online presence is not us evangelizing. An online presence is simply and purely advertising so that we can evangelize. I think that that's a big misunderstanding, is some people think that we use social media and online presence to evangelize people, and we can, and they hear the gospel, but it's predominantly a way to advertise so that we can hear the message of Christ. Danger of being online is that you can make it all about you. The danger of being online is that you can project a picture of yourself that's not accurate. The danger of being online is that you begin to think that if I don't do more, then my church isn't going to grow. And none of those things are really, really positive. In fact, 2 examples, and then I'll just give you 5. Social media, and then our family ministries pastor came to our church because of because she Googled us, because I pay $400 a month in Google advertising. Now she's on staff and oversees our entire family ministry. Our current person who is a part of overseeing our finances, who eventually potentially become more influential in that role, found us on a Google advertisement. So helpful tool. So I just want to give you 5 things, and then they're going to dig into a little bit more. I think our 5-pronged approach is website, an easy to navigate website, and a monthly email, social media on a major social media platform. So choose one. We do on both, but honestly, Instagram is lower accessed. Our website, it goes website, Facebook, email, and then Instagram. So Instagram is actually lower than most of them. Graphics, make excellent graphics, and Brittany can point you some directions for some great services that you can use. And then video, if you don't say I don't have a video crew, it's fine. Just do it on your phone and be as raw as you can, because honestly, I think people would love authenticity over just being perfect. And So we found that the most successful has been Google AdWords. The most exposure is Facebook advertising. The least effective has been door hangers. 4 years, we've had 2 people come from door hangers. One of them, before I went up to preach, looked at me and said, "You better preach led by the Holy Spirit." And I said, "Bro, I'm not here to impress you. You probably should go." It was kind of funny. And then the second person came, his name's Rick, and he just started coming to our church. He's joining our worship team. So, hey, that's about what? $7,000, $8,000 for one soul. Hallelujah. And then the most expensive, but is really good exposure, is probably ad posters on the street. But we only saw very few people come from that, but that's more about just letting people know that we are there. So I'm just going to hand it over to Josh for a minute. He's going to share for a few minutes kind of to reiterate some of the thoughts that I shared. And then Brittany's going to kind of take on the more practical side. So go ahead, buddy.
Awesome. Thanks, Ryan. So I as well kind of had some bitterness towards digital technology and social media. I just felt like I only saw detrimental and negative effects on it, especially on young people in their culture, in their identity, and how they view themselves. So I kind of wanted to get as far away from social media and technology as I could. But then recently I took a class called Effective Online Ministry, and that really shaped the way that I viewed social media, digital technology, and giving me a greater theology of technology. And so to start off, I just wanted to share about what I think God's general goal for human existence is. I believe that is for shalom. Mm-hmm. And so in the words of Cornelius Plantinga, he describes shalom as a universal flourishing, wholeness, and delight. Natural needs are satisfied and natural gifts employed, all under the arc. Shalom, in other words, is the way things are supposed to be. And that all starts with Christ. And I think we can pursue shalom through technology. And I believe that for us as leaders and as Christians, to be a faithful presence means enacting the shalom of God in the circumstances in which God has placed us, and to actively seek it on behalf of others as well. And so we are all called to be agents of this shalom. Yeah. And we can absolutely enact that through digital technology. Because like I just said, God's intention for all of creation is to go back and restore the harmony and shalom of creation. And God, throughout scriptures and throughout history, we can see almost always uses some form of technology to fulfill his mission, to fulfill this mission of bringing shalom back to our world. And so to give you kind of a very stripped down definition of what technology is something that extends our reach. Mm-hmm. That was a huge thing that I learned in my class. It can be as basic as a fork. A fork was technology that extended our reach. Yeah. And then we came to automobiles, these incredible inventions, this incredible technology that expanded our reach to be able to reach so many further places, so many more people. And then technology of language to now reach and connect to other people and other cultures. And now we're at this place where digital technology can be used to extend our reach. We now have the capability of reaching and talking and being a part of people's lives all over the globe. So this can be used as an incredible gift to glorify God, to pursue his mission, and to pursue seeking his kingdom come here. Yeah. So technology can be used for incredible things to further God's kingdom, or on the other aspect, on the other side of the spectrum, to harm and to demean people. So we have to be very careful, but we need to approach technology with the idea and with the view that it can be used for incredibly great things. And so just a few examples from scripture would be Noah's Ark. So God chose to save and redeem humanity with this incredible piece of technology. He created a boat, this incredible ark, to save that family, to save humanity. But then we see later in the story of Jonah, where he uses the same piece of technology to actually flee in the opposite direction of what God wanted him to do. He rebelled against God with the same piece of technology. So it can be used both ways. And in the Tower of Babel, God's mission for his people at that time was to scatter and to fill the earth, to be multiplied. But instead, they try to start building upwards. And so we inflicted these different languages to now scatter around the world. And then in Acts 2, we see the reverse of Babel. And God now gives language to grow the kingdom and to pursue his glory everywhere. He gave them this new technology to pursue his mission.
Awesome.
And we come to see the ultimate picture of technology, I think, in the person of Jesus. And this word that is used to describe often and cultivates and is in Jesus as a first century technology. In Jesus, when we begin creating new things and using technology, as we see that even the technology of the cross was used to bring Jesus to be high and lifted up, this thing that God can use to bring glory to his name. So again, some people might say that going digital, especially for church, is absolutely unnecessary. It takes us away from the motivation. It takes us away from what we're supposed to be. So again, I had a lot of resentment and bitterness. I was like, we need to stay away. We need to be avoiding this. How did Paul grow so much of the church? And how does Paul still impact us today? Able to preach remotely through congregational gatherings, through the technology, or through the extension of his voice by using the written text of letters written on parchment or papyrus. So the epistles, they carried the same authority, or even arguably more authority than his physical presence, as we are still reading those letters today, sitting under them as authoritative, and they still shape us today. They still shape the church today. And so that shows a little bit of the using technology to bring about life-changing kingdom presence. So there's just a couple of things to remember, is that technology can help us reach and pursue the mission of God for good as well as harm. So as Ryan alluded to earlier, we should use it wisely. Ensure to use technology. We need it, and God loves to use that to pursue his kingdom, but we need to use it wisely. So to learn how to do that, I'll pass it on to Brittany.
That's awesome.
So good. So I'll start with what we use the most, and that's our website. So we use WordPress for our website. WordPress is so easy to use. So it's drag and drop, simple, easy to use. One of the things that when I took over the website from Ryan, what I did, especially right now during COVID, when people are coming to our website for two things, and that's either to register for church on Sunday or to watch church online. So those are front and center when you come to our website. Really easy to find. Then we have our other things like, are you new, for anyone that might be coming through a Google search to find us. Our events, our sermon series, everything's really easy to find.
Good.
Okay. For our social media, we use two main platforms, and that's Facebook and Instagram. So my goal at the beginning of every week is to sit down and schedule our posts through the week. So I use Facebook to schedule Facebook posts through their business suite. You can just log on there and start scheduling posts. So at first we were doing, Ryan requested 3 posts a day, which is awesome, but that's a lot.
I wasn't doing it, so I was like, I want 10 posts a day.
It was a lot of work to try and sit down and think of 3 things to post a day that are engaging and meaningful, because when people are on social media, you want to be making that impact. So I do 1 post a day now. I don't know if he knows that, but I only do 1 post a day.
I finally just let go and said, God, I trust her.
So I'll do 1 post a day. I'll occasionally get Ryan to do more of a pastoral post or a video. So what I post is our upcoming events, what happened on Sunday, what was preached on. I'll highlight our teams or groups, and Ryan will do more of a pastoral post. So that's more of the scriptures or encouragements throughout the week.
And that's just my phone. I do a lot of those just selfie, because I'm actually a big believer that the more raw your video is and the more real and authentic it is and less produced, I actually think people connect with it better. So I think that, feeling like I can't do it because I'm not very good at all the video stuff, I don't think is an accurate assessment. I think people want to see you in your natural habitat. They want to see you in your kind of messy house and maybe you're not nice clothes, whatever, because I think people relate to that authenticity.
Yeah. one of the things we also started doing, it was our worship pastor, James's suggestion was before we sing a new song on Sunday, to post about it throughout the week. So we'll post YouTube links, or I'll make a quick graphic with a few lyrics from that song, and we'll post those throughout the week. So people are seeing the song lyrics pop up or the YouTube links on their Facebook page instead of just more posts throughout the week.
Yeah.
For Instagram, we use Planoly, so it's you can get it for free.
I'm going to put that in this.
Yeah.
Keep talking.
So we use that for free. You can also have a subscription to it, but free is always good. So you can schedule up to 30 posts a month, and then it reactivates every month. But just a week or two ago, Facebook actually has their own scheduling tool now, and that's just done as you're scheduling your Facebook post. You can actually post it to Instagram now as well, as long as it's the right size, which is usually a square or rectangle. So that was nice. It takes out that extra step of using Planoly, but Planoly is really nice. You can store hashtags on there, and it has your grid, so you can, like your Instagram grid, so you can make sure everything is how you want it to look visually. So when it comes to posting links on Instagram, one of the challenges I found was, because we have under 10,000 followers, we can't swipe up on stories or have a link in our post. So one of the ways I've kind of worked around that is through a website called Linktree. So Ryan will post it up there. And Linktree is free to sign up for. It's a list of links. So you can post it in your profile on Instagram or Facebook or wherever you want it, and you can create customized links. So for right now, what we have on our Instagram page is people can click our link, and it'll bring you to the song we're singing on, the new song we're singing on Sunday. It'll have registration for church on Sunday. It'll have group signups, team signups, our website, sermons. So there's a list. So people aren't trying to remember the URL they saw in your Instagram post. They can just go to your profile, click on the link, and it's there.
Yeah.
What else do I have here? So back to the Instagram side of stories, we don't utilize it quite as much, I know, as other churches do. I'll use it if we're, Ryan, when he sends me a video and it's over the 60 seconds of a post can handle, I'll use that as a story. Because
If it's over 60 seconds, it's good.
It's always over 60 seconds.
I don't know if you can go under 60 seconds.
Over 60 seconds means it's a good thought.
There you go.
Just kidding. It's
So-
the opposite.
I'll post that on Instagram, and I have it connected to our Facebook, as I mentioned. So it actually posts to our Facebook story as well. So it kind of gets two birds. Stone at once. What's the word? Stone two birds at once. Okay. When it comes to posts, I find pictures get way more engagement than graphics do. So people like to see your church and see what it's like and see the people in
Faces.
smiling faces. So instead post it and then see the graphic in there, but I'll also take all of the information that's on the graphic and just put it in the caption on the post. What's cool is that if someone swipes past your post and doesn't engage with it, that if it's a carousel, that post will actually come back up again, different graphic or picture that time.
Yeah.
For graphics, I actually, that's what I went to school for. So I create all of our own graphics using Instagram or sorry, Photoshop or Illustrator. There's lots of resources out there that you can use, but for us, we subscribe to the Adobe Suite.
Yeah.
You can find lots of tutorials out there for that.
Going to fill in that blank there.
Okay.
And she's going to also and we do use a paid service that has pre-done graphics. And we try to use those as much as possible because I would rather Brittany spend most of her time doing social media pushes than spending her time creating graphics when there's other people that will do that. So, there's one of them is called, I think it's called Creation Swap, but I think it's a new name. But if you type in Creation Swap, you know what I'm talking about?
Mm-mm.
They change your name, but it's Creation Swap. And if you Google that, you'll find it. There's also, what I'll do is I can maybe send if you have a question, if you want to know our free resources, how about that? Why don't you ask us for them? Because we have a bunch of them that you can get where there's free ones, but then there's also, I'd encourage you just pay money, pay 30, 40 bucks a month and just use the graphics that they have there and it'll look awesome. It'll look great.
Another tool that you can also learn from is, it's called Pro Church Tools, I believe.
Yeah.
And they have a list of free resources as well. So that would work. One of my favorite websites for stock photos is called Unsplash. It's all free, and Pro Church Tools is also on there. So you can go on and see their list of favorited pictures that are church related or event related. And then for monthly emails, we try and send out one email a month with everything that's going on in the church. So we try and keep it just simple, even just to look at. So we've got a graphic and then the description, people can click on it to wherever they're going from there. Our open rate can be anywhere from like 5 people to hopefully everybody. That's not always the case.
No.
We use MailChimp. We can import all of our contacts from Planning Center, which is where our registration happens.
And MailChimp is free.
And MailChimp's free
until you have about 2,000 contacts. And it's a way to design your email rather than sending it directly from Planning Center where it's just this craft.
Yeah. So we try and use engaging email lines or subject lines and always take advantage of that secondary line so it pops up right underneath. I lost my train of thought.
You're just about emails.
Okay. Oh yeah, and then one of the things I like is tracking the analytics. So you can do that through Linktree, Planoly, MailChimp. You can almost do it through anything to see what's working, what's not, because you don't want to be wasting time on things that aren't working for your church or for your followers. So if you can take advantage of your analytics and see what works and what doesn't, it's a huge time saver in the end. So.
Yeah, so obviously we don't have a lot of time for question and answer. We have about 3 minutes, but you can email me or Brittany. Brittany's at media@lovecitychurch.ca. And then I'm Ryan at lovecitychurch.ca. I'd love to, if you have a need or a question, we basically had to start from scratch with nothing. And so we kind of carved this out of nothing. And obviously God sent us Brittany to really take the helm of that. But if you're a lead pastor and you're watching this and you say, what do I do? What are my first steps? Okay, so here's just as I leave you with this, go on to Instagram or Facebook of people in your church and find someone who has a killer social media account. And somebody who has a decent social media account. They're probably going to be under the age of 25. Approach them and ask them if they'd be willing to to manage your social media and put out one post a day on each of your social media platforms, and send one email a month. That in and of itself, just engaging socially and through an email, will take your game up big time. We have a guy in our church who is an incredible web developer, filled with the Spirit, loves God. He's doing a business change. Developer. So if you're looking for a godly, Spirit-led web developer, I also know that Pastor Brian Davis has a fellow that he's connected with as well. But we'd love to send you their direction. Get a website and make sure that on the top of the fold, on the top of the page, whatever's on the top of the page of your website communicates what your values are right away. So ours is, are you new here, and how to register? And we want to make sure people know what we're talking about sermons-wise. And so what you have on the top of the fold, on the very first shot on your webpage, really matters. And so make sure that you consulting, individuals who like Brittany or someone else maybe in your church who knows web design that can give you some insight into what should be at the top of your page. Maybe there's a small stipend, maybe there's $50 a month or, $75 a month that you can find to throw at somebody who, instead of paying for a service, Maybe you pay $50 a month instead to a service. You pay one person $50 to do all of these things. And, somebody who loves God and they're young and stupid, young and awesome, maybe they'll end up doing that and serving the Lord in that way. You could hire a company to do that. There's some companies that you pay, $200 a month and they do it for you. I know Brady Shear, who's in Toronto, which is Pro Church Tools, is an amazing resource. I love you, Brady, but I do find that when I watch that channel, I get a little personally overwhelmed because they're always talking about what to do. And I don't feel like a lot of people are even at step 1 and he's talking about 3, 4, 5. So go there, but just be warned that you might get a little anxiety after watching that. So top 3 things you need to do this week: get a decent website. Get your website in front of somebody who knows websites and let them tear it apart. Because if your website sucks, which is the number way still people connect through a website, number 1, even before social media, even still with our current trends of social media, our website still is number 1. So make sure your website has a Passover by some young eyes and some young people. We had a visitor come and give us feedback on our website, and so we fixed it right away. Number 2 is get on a platform. My encouragement, get on Facebook and just start putting in 1 post a day. And third one is send a monthly email, MailChimp's free, even if it's just text. But bullet point all the things you're doing, is what it does. It generates excitement and faith in your church that God is doing something, and I can see it right in front of me. So we got to go. We love you guys. Thanks for listening. Thank you, Pastor Frank, and thank you, Ivan. And if you want to talk to us, Ryan at lovecitychurch.ca, media at lovecitychurch.ca, and we'd love to help you in any way that we can. We're not the best at it, but we're just trying our best to be excellent at it, and we can do that together. So we love you guys. Have an excellent day.